jaldi action. Whatever action he takes should be a jaldi action. If a collision happens, the first rule which will be checked on will be rule 16. Whether did he take a jaldi action or not? That is the first one. And supposing he had not taken an action, then he will become majorly at fault. That does not mean B is not at fault. B is also at fault, but he'll be minorly at fault. A will be majorly at fault. That is the meaning or importance of rule 16. Let's now come to rule 17. Yes, please.
Rule number 17. Action by stand-on vessel. A1. When one of two vessels is to keep out of the way, the other shall be keeping her course and speed.
Okay. The meaning of this is ये एक्शन जब ले रहा होगा उस वक्त इसका एक्शन क्या होगा maintain course and speed is the first action of Bravo. He should maintain course and speed as per 17A1. That's what the rule is saying. The first action by this is maintain course and speed. Next line, please.
A2. The latter vessel may, however, take action to avoid collision by her maneuver alone as soon as it becomes apparent to her that the vessel required to keep out of the way is not taking appropriate action in compliance with these rules.
The latter vessel. Which is the latter vessel? A or B?
Sir B.
B, correct. The latter vessel. This is the former vessel. The latter vessel. So B shall take action by her maneuver alone. So now B has become a giveaway vessel. So B becomes a giveaway vessel. Shall take action by her maneuver alone. Maneuver alone. As soon as it becomes apparent to her that the vessel which is required to keep out of the way is not going to do so. So the question is, how will B come to know that A is not going to take action? B will come to know once she sounds the 5 short and rapid blasts. 5 short and rapid blasts. And these are as per rule number 34 delta. Once he sounds 5 short and rapid blasts to this guy, he must take action. Supposing he still does not take any action, now it is apparent to this guy he action nahi lega. So he becomes a giveaway vessel. Please remember, he becomes a giveaway only after sounding 5 short blasts. Then he becomes a giveaway. He doesn't become a giveaway before. His giveaway is confirmed. And now he must take action. And how will he take action? By maneuver alone. What is the meaning of maneuver alone? It means either alteration of course only or reduction of speed only. This is the meaning of maneuver alone. दोनों में से एक करेगा या ऑल्टरेशन ऑफ कोर्स ओनली करेगा या रिडक्शन ऑफ स्पीड ओनली करेगा दोनों एक साथ नहीं करेगा दिस इज द मीनिंग ऑफ मैनूवर अलोन नेक्स्ट लाइन नेक्स्ट लाइन
B. When from any cause the vessel required to keep her course and speed finds herself so close that collision cannot be avoided by the action of the give way vessel alone, she shall take such action as will best aid to avoid collision.
This particular point gives you what is called as definition of close quarter situation. This particular point is giving you the definition of close quarter situation. So what is a close quarter situation? Close quarter situation is that situation in which action by one vessel alone is not sufficient enough to to keep out of the way of the other vessel. Action by one vessel alone is not sufficient enough, is not sufficient enough to keep or to avoid collision. So what is a close quarter situation? Close quarter situation is that situation in which action by A alone is not sufficient. मतलब B को भी एक्शन लेना पड़ेगा. इतना पास आ गए हैं क्योंकि ये सब करना पड़ा, मेंटेन कोर्स एंड स्पीड करना पड़ा, 5 शॉट एंड रैपिड ब्लास्ट करना पड़ा, और तब जाके ये गिव वे बना. अब जब ये गिव वे बन गया, सो इसका एक्शन क्या है? 5 शॉट एंड रैपिड ब्लास्ट. Now he has turned a give way vessel, and now he must take action by maneuver alone because he is in close quarter situation now. That is the very meaning behind it. Next point.
सर थोड़ा सा बोर्ड ऊपर कर देंगे, सॉरी
हाँ जी.
कैमरा ऊपर कर देंगे.
Yeah.
Point C.
Yeah.
A power-driven vessel which takes action in a crossing situation in accordance with subparagraph A2 of this rule to avoid collision with another power-driven vessel shall, if the circumstances of the case admit, not alter the course to port for a vessel on her port side.
Okay. So Bravo, under any circumstance, will not alter course to port. That is what he is trying to say. Shall not alter course to port for a vessel on her port side. Very, very clear. ये पोर्ट नहीं जाएगा, यहां नहीं जा सकता. क्यों नहीं जा सकता? क्योंकि ये कभी भी स्टार्बोर्ड जाएगा. आखिरी मोमेंट पे भी ये बदल सकता है और ये स्टार्बोर्ड जा सकता है. सो ये स्टार्बोर्ड जाएगा, ये पोर्ट नहीं जाएगा, ये इसके लिए, और ब्रावो के लिए ये पोर्ट नहीं जाएगा, ये स्टार्बोर्ड जाएगा. या रिड्यूस स्पीड करे वो तो भाई है, बट both will alter to their green side. This will also alter to his green side where his green starboard side light is, and this will also alter to his green starboard side light. He will not alter course to his port side, he will not alter course to his port side. That is how the rule has been framed. Is that okay?
Sir, here is it written for power driven vessel only.
So both are, we are talking only, I'm only talking about PD vessels. 15,
That's
16,
true, but
17 is only PD vessels. I'm only discussing PD vessels right now. Please remember, this is PD vessel. This is also PD vessel. I have not gone on to any other vessels as yet. Both are PD vessels.
okay.
Next.
Point D. This rule does not relieve the give-way vessel of her obligation to keep out of the way.
This rule does not mean A stand on ban gaya. A remains give way. B has also become give way. A remains give way. B is also give way. Now, that is the meaning of it. A remains give way. B is also give way now. Hanji. 16, 17. Any doubts? Clear है? किसी को कोई डाउट है प्लीज पूछ लो. No doubts? All right, great. So let us start off with the various cases. So let me take vessel A. Vessel B. So let me start off with Desh Deepak Shukla. Both are PD vessels. This is also PD vessel. PD vessel, PD vessel. Desh Deepak Shukla. You'll have to unmute yourself. Desh Deepak Shukla. Hifzan Akhtar.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Hifzan. You are on vessel Alpha,
Okay, sir.
right? Distance off is 5 miles. I want to know on vessel A, what is your action? Action by A.
Sir, as per rule, it says that in the crossing situation, I am standby, but the distance is 5 miles. So I have to look the CP and TCP of the other vessel. If risks of collision exist, then I am no longer a stand-on vessel. I will also become a giveaway vessel.
ये कहाँ लिखा हुआ है? ये जो तुमने अभी बोला,
हाँ सर.
ये कहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है कि if the risk of collision exists, you are a giveaway vessel?
सर ये लिखा नहीं सर कहीं.
फिर
सर
कैसे बोलते हो?
सर डिस्टेंस कम होगा, बेयरिंग कांस्टेंट अगर रहेगी तो
अभी
और
तो
सिक्स.
अभी तो मैंने सिंपल सा पूछा है, व्हाट इज योर फर्स्ट स्टेप? अभी तो फर्स्ट स्टेप ही नहीं तुमने मुझे बताया, मुझे स्टोरी
सर फर्स्ट
सुनाती
स्टेप
पहले.
I will maintain my course and speed.
ओके, आकाश कुमार, व्हाट इज योर फर्स्ट स्टेप?
Sir, I will monitor and try to attract the attention by Rule 34D, 5 short and rapid blast.
ओके, शिवम, व्हाट इज योर फर्स्ट एक्शन?
Sir, I'll maintain course and speed and monitor the target.
Amartanshu, what is your first action?
Sir, I will maintain course and speed and take series of bearings, sir. to check whether risk of collision exists or not.
So your first action has got to be take series of consecutive visual compass bearing from bridge wing gyro repeaters. That's going to be your first action. Why can't Ifzan, Akash, Shivam, why can't you speak this language? Just talk straight language. घुमा फिरा के बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है. Take series of consecutive visual compass pairing. Ritik.
Yes, sir.
Ritik, what is the meaning of series?
Sir, at a period of, sir, in a series of time, sir, one after the another.
That is series? Okay. Shamsher, what is the meaning of series?
Sir, one by one we take after a few interval of time, we take consecutive bearings.
मैं सीरीज का मतलब पूछ रहा हूँ तो मुझे कंसेक्यूटिव बता दो.
Sir, एक के बाद एक, sir, one after the other.
Gurmeet, what is the meaning of series?
सर सीरीज मतलब एक साथ मतलब कुछ टाइम इंटरवल के बाद बार बार एक ग्रुप ऑफ ऑब्जर्वेशंस लेना.
Minto Singh, what is the meaning of series?
Sir, the difference between time is remain constant at every time we are taking bearing.
Anybody in the class who knows the meaning of series?
Sir, sequence.
So sequence.
A group or number of events.
A set or sequence.
It is series is greater than equal to 3. That is the meaning of series. 2 is not a series. 3 or more is series. That means if I take 3 bearings, then that is series. If I take 2 bearings, that is not a series. If I take 3 or more, that means 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever, that is a series. What is the meaning of consecutive? मतलब इक्वल इंटरवल. अगर मैंने पहली अभी ली, फिर 2 मिनट के बाद ली, फिर 2 मिनट के बाद ली, दैट इज कंसेक्यूटिव. एक मैंने अभी ली, फिर मैंने 1 मिनट के बाद ली, फिर मैंने 2 मिनट के बाद ली, दिस इज नॉट कंसेक्यूटिव. इज दैट ओके? हैव यू अंडरस्टूड द मीनिंग बिटवीन सीरीज, बिटवीन कंसेक्यूटिव? मतलब क्या होता है? इज इट ओके? क्लियर है?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
ओके. विजुअल कंपास बेयरिंग, नॉट रेडार. तो विजुअल होनी चाहिए, नो रेडार. इसका मतलब ये है, नो रेडार. फ्रॉम ब्रिजविंग जायरो रिपीटर. सो जायरो रिपीटर ब्रिजविंग से होना चाहिए, नॉट सेंट्रल कंसोल. नॉट द सेंट्रल कंसोल. बाहर से लेना है मुझे. So this will be my first action by A. Second, my purpose of doing this is to determine ROC, to determine risk of collision. Let's say ROC is yes. Now you go to the fourth point and then you say that I will maintain my course and speed as per rule number 17A1. Because the rule says so. That's why. Next, I'll sound 5 short and rapid blasts to attract her attention. And what you're doing it as per rule number 34 delta. She still does not take any action. I'll sound 1 short blast and alter course to starboard and pass well clear. PWC for short. Pass well clear. And this action I'm doing as per which rule? As per rule number 17 Charlie. Because 17 Charlie prohibits me from going to port. I cannot go to port. So I can only go to starboard. Hanji, any doubts so far in all these 6 actions? 1 2 3 तो आपके स्टैंडर्ड रहेंगे, चाहे कोई भी वेसल हो, चाहे कोई भी सिचुएशन हो, ये तो आपको रिप्लाई देना ही है। हर बार बार दोगे 1 2 3, तो 1 2 3 को तो घोट लो।
Sir, I have a doubt, sir.
Please go ahead.
Sir, why we cannot take bearing from center repeater, sir?
Tell me, anybody can tell me what are the advantages of taking bearings from the bridge wing over central console?
There is class.
There is
Class. The window sheet. If we
okay.
take from the yes sir.
Okay.
Center.
One is you've got a glass in front of you which is going to cause parallax or is going to cause a refraction, right? So that is one reason. That's fantastic. Very good. Any other reason?
सर पूरी 360 नहीं ले सकते ना bearings.
बिल्कुल ठीक, बिल्कुल ठीक। पूरी 360 डिग्रीज हम व्यू नहीं ले सकते. That is point number 2. Any other point?
It is possible that during series of bearings, sir, the vessel will be directly in line with the obstruction in between the glasses, sir. So we
Okay. So it is possible that the obstruction is getting obstructed. The vessel is getting obstructed. बिल्कुल ठीक है. Point number 3 taken. Point number 4. Point number 4. So your arc of visibility, basically अगर आप सेंट्रल कंसोल से लेते हो तो you can only take up to 30 degrees on either side. उसके बाद से तो obstruction शुरू हो जाएगा. So you are limited by way of the arc of visibility. So that's point number 4. Point number 5. With the central console, you can only take terrestrial. You can't take celestial at all. So that's point number 5. Point number 6. Your lookout says by sight and by hearing. If you are taking from central console, you're not going outside the bridge wing. If you're not going outside the bridge wing, you're not keeping rule 5, proper lookout. Because you're supposed to go out and you're supposed to listen by hearing. That's point number 6. Point number 7. The fact that you are only taking from central console means you are doing only radar watchkeeping. And you are not doing proper watchkeeping or lookout. You're only observing by radar. And if you're only observing by radar, it is possible that there must be targets outside which are not detected by radar. You're missing them out. That's point number 7. And finally, point number 8. If you are only within the central console and only inside the bridge wing, then you do not have good situational awareness. So because of all these 8 reasons, you will take out your bearing using bridge wing gyro repeater. Is that okay? 8 reasons are there. Any other doubt in this case that we have done?
No, sir.
सर ये PWC क्या था?
Pass well clear.
पास विल क्लियर, ओके सर। एंड सर ऊपर ये AA क्या था पॉइंट नंबर 5 में?
To attract attention.
ओके ओके।
To attract it. I'll be using a lot of these abbreviations. So please start getting used to these abbreviations. I'll keep speaking them out in the class also time and again. I'll be repeating it also, and I'll keep writing these abbreviations.
Sir, this option 6, around how many distance from this vessel P should we start altering? Like
there is no distance mentioned at all.
This
There
yes,
is
sir.
no distance. So therefore, you are not dependent on the distance of the other vessel. See, your ROR is very, very clear. ROR does not tell you any distance off. So you cannot commit to any distance. You can only commit to the series of actions you're going to take. You have to remember one thing. Your pilot in the aircraft, he has got a certain checklist which he follows when there is an emergency. Okay? So the pilot is, what is he doing? So you've got two pilots, right? One sitting on the port and one is sitting on the starboard. At any point in time, one pilot is in charge. He's got the con. What is the other pilot doing? What is he for in the cockpit? Any idea?
In case of emergency, I mean, if the other pilot is not well, he can take.
Is that the only reason?
Sir, radio communication and checklist.
Anything else?
Sir, he is making sure that the standard checklists are being followed.
Absolutely right. So one pilot has got the con. He is doing the controls. One of them. Okay. The other guy will have the checklist in front. वो अपना folder खोल के बैठ जाता है. And वो बोलता रहता है. Okay. Flaps on. So the pilot who's got the con will say flaps on. He repeats it. Lights on. Lights on. Gear down. Gear down. So this guy is the checklist. He's reading the checklist. Okay. They've got a book, and in that book, they've got pages, and the checklists are there for every stage. So this guy is actually reading your checklist for you, and that guy is actually performing that checklist and acknowledging कि मैं ये कर रहा हूँ. So that's the reason. Not for emergency. Emergency तो है ही है. वो तो that is a separate. But everyday an emergency doesn't happen. It's such an expensive proposition keeping two pilots in a cockpit. They could have kept this one guy somewhere else. And with the instrument landing system and all these things, automatic landing can take place. Aircraft can land automatically also. You don't need a pilot for it. If you go on the ILS, you can just land it automatically. The point what I'm trying to make is the pilots in the aircrafts, they go precisely as per the checklist. Unfortunately, we don't. हम चेकलिस्ट के बिंदास हम तो उड़े हुए हैं क्योंकि हम विदाउट चेकलिस्ट पैदा हुए हैं. Our entire shipping this thing, so many days हो गए, इतने साल हो गए हैं, we still don't have a proper checklist for the bridge. Companies have isolatedly got it, but there is no uniform one checklist. This is the checklist. Please follow it, come what may. वो नहीं है. That's a very sad part of our shipping thing. And that is the reason why accidents are still happening. Because what we need is one concise standard checklist to be followed across by everybody. So be it a Russian, be it a Chinese, be it an Indian, be it a Bangladeshi, एक checklist होगी. और हर situation के लिए एक checklist होनी चाहिए. And we have to just read that checklist. मजे की बात यह है कि वो चेकलिस्ट हमारी SMS मैनुअल में है, बट वो मैनुअल के लिए है, बिकॉज हम लोग उसको पढ़ते ही नहीं है, उसको हमने यूजर फ्रेंडली ही नहीं बनाया. एक छोटी सी उसकी कंसाइज डायरी दे देते, एक ब्रिज पे रख देते, बात ही खत्म हो जाती. वो आज तक नहीं हुआ. In the best of companies, we don't have this diary on the bridge, which we can call it as a checklist diary. Ages ago, ages ago, in mobile, this used to be there. And I saw it over there that you used to have, the duty officer used to carry a small little laminated card. That was the checklist. So he had a card which he used to carry in his pocket. So if a duty officer was there on the cargo watch, then he would be carrying that. If he was doing tank cleaning, there would be a tank cleaning checklist in his pocket. And उसको देख के वो करता था और उसी में टिक 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 करता था. And that was 35, 40 years ago, 30 years ago. But till date, we don't have it. That's the sad part. We've got all the ISMs and we've got all the SMS manuals, and everything is there in the manual, but it's not there at the ground reality. It should be there in the CCR. It's not there. फाइल में रहेगा और हम चेक उसको टिक मार्क भी करते हैं, उसको कंप्यूटर में एंट्री भी करते हैं, सब कुछ करते हैं हम. So someday it will happen. Let's hope. Till such time, you will have to follow this checklist. This is the checklist which I am creating for you. So come what may, the question what he had asked was, but what distance? Well, come what may, if the distance is 1 mile, still you'll follow the sequence. You will have to follow it. You just can't take action just like that. So you'll do everything. You'll do very in a fast manner. That's all. जल्दी करोगे. But करोगे जरूर. 5 shot blast दोगे, लेकिन जल्दी दोगे. So is that okay? Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Haji, anybody else? Any other doubt?
I have to ask one thing.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Sir, if the master in any case feels that he doesn't have sufficient time to follow this sequence, so he can overrule this law?
Which law?
The sequence we just talked about, like we will give 5 and short rapid blast and all.
You
can you skip?
You have to give 5 short blasts. It is something like what you do on while you're driving your car or mobile on the road. Okay, if there's some guy who's bothering you, what do? You honk them. You continuously keep honking. You're supposed to honk. Can you just give hard starboard or hard port? Yes, you can. There's nothing wrong in it. But if there is a collision, what will the other guy say? Well, he didn't honk. So he's got a valid point. You didn't honk. You saw it. He was bothering you. Why didn't you honk? So the same thing applies to you. Why didn't you give 5 short blasts when you knew that guy was bothering? That's the question. So that's where the importance of the checklist comes into play. That's what I'm trying to say. Is it okay?
Okay, sir. Understood.
Yeah, there are some people who would say 5 miles of